Welcome, everybody. My name is Sasha Corellis, and I am the head of production for the StudioX program here at the Academy of Art University. I'm also the production lead, so I handle the people that are coming through the department looking to get into the career of actually producing and doing production management for animation and visual effects. But I also am a big part of the StudioX program across all of the different disciplines in our department, so that you guys can come in and get some real life studio experience. There's so many things that go into actually working on a film or working on a project that goes beyond learning the software or goes beyond learning how to animate or to draw storyboards and all of the technical things. One of the big things with Studio X is that we really emulate the studio experience. In what you're going to see today is visual effects. We work on feature films. We work on short films from other universities, including UCLA, Chapman, Columbia College in Chicago, and also NYU. So we do a lot of visual effects in that way. But we also just finished shots on 3 feature films that have gone and done fairly well in the last year. One actually got the best picture at the Mexico best, like their Oscars called the Ariels, and another feature film that we just did shots for premiered at Sundance. So what we're really trying to do is give you guys a real experience of working on a project and applying the skills you're learning in class to actual production and the films while working in a team environment. So working under the directors, working under the supervisors, giving the direction and making sure, then working with your team to make sure that everyone's following along with all of the different specs, all the different art direction. This is probably, in my opinion, the most social of art forms. We usually spend like half the day talking about what we're going to do, and then we go have lunch, and then we go and come back, and then we do what we need to do. That's kind of just a usual day in our world. And so really it's so that you can get that experience of dealing with like real world issues that you're going to face in the industry out there. So before we get into like talking about all the different classes, I want to show you our demo reel that is for our visual effects class, which is what we'll be going into and touring after this webinar. So I'd like you guys to see the work that we have done, and then we'll come back and talk about some more of these, the classes. Okay, so go ahead, Will. muted. You see some of the animation projects that we've done. Some of the live action, visual effects, some of the stop motion and 2D projects that we've also done. So we have a really wide variety of types of work. And that's really when you guys come into do your studies at the Academy of Art, you want to gain the skills, but go into StudioX so that you can work on all these different types of projects so that your reel has a lot of really good variety of different looks so that when studios see you, they see that you are that you can kind of work in any style and that you are very resourceful because all of these different films and shows we do are all going to be a little bit different. So that's always something really good to do. So one of the things is I wanted to just go over the classes that are offered and when they're going to be offered, because we do run StudioX in the summertime, which personally, for me, it's my favorite time to take and to teach StudioX classes, especially if there aren't any internships that are available and you do need to take some classes in the summer, because we meet twice a week. And it kind of makes us more focused on the work in a short amount of time. So we are doing some recruiting for the summer. If you have taken some of the prerequisites, which we'll get up in a second here. So we have a pre-production class. This is where we do a lot of storyboards and development of visual development of the films. We have 3D animation with Michael Parks. We have that in the summer and fall and spring. 3D texture and lighting. So this is really doing texture and lighting kind of in that same realm of like what a Disney, Pixar, or DreamWorks film would look like. We also have 3D visual effects. This is where you'll see where we're doing maybe big kaijus and different 3D and dynamics, water, clouds that we actually comp into a live action scene. Compositing with Catherine, that this is the premiere class. This is what we're going to look at today. We're going to go observe today. And then 2D short animation with Daisy Church. She's going to talk about that more in a second. And then of course, production management with me. So basically working on all these different films, doing teamwork, communication, organization, so everybody is on the same page. So that's just kind of the high level of the classes. If some of these, we're going to go through each one so you can kind of see what we're looking for and what we're doing. So the first one that is that we're going to see today that we're going to go check out is the VFX compositing class with Catherine Tate. So the people that should enroll in this class are people that are composite artists. We work mainly in Nuke and any matte painters. So this is where in this class you work on the high-end StudioX films with independent filmmakers. This is where we did Fruitvale Station, Beasts of the Southern Wild. And if you guys know Fruitvale Station, it was one of the first films done by Ryan Coogler, who has now gone on to direct Creed and Black Panther. So he actually was in our studio and working with us and our students on one of his first films. And so this is also really good exposure for you guys so that you can actually meet some of these up and coming filmmakers. The next one I want to hand over to Daisy. She has a very special class that we're running in the fall, and I'd like her to go through it.
Hello, can you guys see me? I can only see you, Sasha. So
yes,
okay, there we are.
Yeah.
Ta-da! Yes. So short film production. This is kind of an offshoot of the StudioX classes that we've been running in the 2D department in the past couple of years. Last spring semester was the first time we ran it, and it was amazing. The whole concept is that it's putting everyone involved in the film in the same room together. So StudioX, usually it's just, the VFX people, it's just a 3D animators, it's very specialized. With 2D, we ended up sort of having, layout and some storyboard and some 2D animation, like all put together. And I'm like, well, it'd be so fantastic if we could work side by side with visual development artists and with the sound people and if all these people got to know each other and got to sort of, create films together in the same space, and kind of putting it in sort of like a crucible where you're given a very specific time frame and you have to make it work. So there are 4 categories of students that enroll in this class. We have VizDev students, we have the 2D animation, storyboard layout people, sound designers and musicians. And then there's kind of this like the extra category, which is anyone who can convince me that they have added value. So producers, we had an advertising major last semester and a producer, um, you know, storytellers, people that have something to add to the equation. Then every 3 weeks, we put teams of 4 to 5 students into teams, and it's random. So every 3 weeks, you get a different team. And you're given those 3 weeks to create a short animated film. Go. And they have to figure it out. Basically, you think of the story, you storyboard it, you do all the viz dev for it, you animate it, put all the music to it, put it together, and by the end, you have a finished film. By the time that you exit the semester, each student has 3, I think it was 3 to 4 finished films that they have completed to add to their portfolio or their demo reel. You get to meet sound, as an animator, you get to meet the sound people and viz dev people. And again, it's kind of about building your network, about building the, understanding the process from different departments, like understanding like, well, how does, the sound and audio work? How does, the visual development side work? And they get to understand how the animation side works. And it's super duper fun. The other thing that I like about it is that, and this is sort of like an example of the 3-week sprints where, you're coming up with the ideas, you're doing style and, character development. And every week you sort of have a different idea of how much stuff you're supposed to get done. And at the very end of every 3 weeks, we kind of do a postmortem. We look at the pieces and give feedback. The students basically leave feedback for each other, and that's how it's graded is, what your teammates have to say about you. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention is I love that it emulates the real world working situation because you can't choose your coworkers at all. And so you have to figure out how to excel at soft skills. In addition to being an amazing artist and to be an amazing creative person, you have to understand how to work alongside people that are not like you. So part of it is just understanding how to collaborate in a true sense with people that sometimes you get along with and sometimes you don't. And in the end, you have to make it work. And again, a lot of the inspiration is from like the 24-hour animation competition where teams of 5 animation students complete 30-second shorts in 24 hours. And I'm like, well, if they can do that in 24 hours, what if I give them 3 weeks? And yeah, it is a super fun class. I was just so happy with how it turned out, and I want to continue doing it on a regular basis as a StudioX sort of project for 2D, because again, since 2D is sort of such a special situation in terms of how we go into production, it's sort of a better fit for what we do. So it's not taking like years and years to finish. People don't get burnout. So yeah, and I teach it. So if you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email or ask me, and I'm more than happy to tell you more about it.
Yeah, we'll have some more details on that in the fall, but we are definitely wanting to run it again because we've got Daisy back, and it was just so successful. Will, did you have one of the shorts? Yeah, so we want to just show you one of the shorts that came out of Daisy's class, and just so you guys can see what they can do in about 4 weeks. So go ahead.
Every time.
And we just love that.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
love the sound design too. The
The
sound
sound
design.
design is great. So these
So
are just
great.
super fun. What's great is that, like Daisy said, is that there's just a variety. You're going to be working with a variety of different artists and different people and different senses of humor. But at the end of the class, you've got 3 to 4 short animation that you can put on your reel, and it's great. It's just such good experience. So thank you, Daisy. We're
Of course.
excited to run it again. Okay, so let me just talk about a little bit more about each class and kind of what we're looking for in each class, and then we'll go into your questions because I know that those are starting to come in. So like we said on Daisy's, we're looking for storyboard artists, 2D animators. If you're a producer type and you love 2D animation, sound designers, viz dev people, it's kind of a big group of people that are in that class. In the 3D animation class with Michael Parks, we're running this both this summer, and we're running it. We always run it in the fall and in the spring. So who's enrolling in these? We're looking for 3D animators, character animators, creature animators. We're looking for even layout artists. So the people that before the animators actually setting up the shots, coming up with the camera action and camera moves and all of that. Anybody looking to do previs, we are trying to do more previs of our animated shorts, 3D animated shorts, because that's a big skill in the industry right now. There's always room for more previs artists in the studios. And then any game animators. We are actually collaborating with the games department. So we're actually working on several different games with them, doing animated states on different characters. We actually just are picking up a new project with the Chinese Historical Museum for the big Bruce Lee exhibit that's going to be opening up in 2022. And so we're actually doing a 3D animated Bruce Lee, which is going to be really cool. And that's going to be, we're going to be building more and more of that over time. So that's what we're looking for 3D animation. Then the production management on my side, like I said, these are really, we're looking for people that are production assistants, producer types. If you've had some of that experience, you've taken my classes, any directors or collaborative project showrunners. So in this class, you work on 2+ StudioX projects and maybe some collaborative projects with animation and games. In producing, we do so many different things. We're working on the VFX films. Most of my producers have a VFX film. They're working on they're either working in Daisy's class in 2D. They're working on some of the gaming projects or the 3D animation projects. And then some of my producers and directors, they may have their own thesis projects, and they need people management and all the organization. So they'll come into my class and they're running their projects through the StudioX and with other students. And so just kind of helping those projects get done, because definitely when you're working with a team of people, when it becomes 4 or 5 more people, it takes a lot to kind of keep everything organized. So that's my class, and I run that both in summer and in spring and fall. The other class, this is our big 3D VFX class. This is where if you're a modeler or a rigger or dynamic artist doing water or smoke or explosions, if you're looking to do texture and lighting for more photoreal things like kind of the Avengers style films that we all know and love, 3D animated or 3D environments as well, and any generalists. So this class is, we run this in the summer and in the spring and fall. And this is really where we're creating a lot of assets for not only the 3D animated films, but also all of the visual effects films. So there is a lot of different things crossing over in this. So we may have very cartoony looking things for models and doing rigging and texturing, but then we might be doing very photoreal things that look like it's actually in the environment, creating creatures and monsters and kaijus and all kinds of fun stuff. So this is a great class for people that are in that place of creating assets. And then our 3D texture and lighting class, this is for 3D texture artists and lighters and comp artists that are looking to do more animation projects. So like I said, more of kind of like the Pixar style. This is where, if you've seen some of our films, Soar won the Student Academy Award. That was done in that class. Wishing Box, and then the film that we just finished, Redemption, that is going through the festivals right now. So that's all done in Derek's class, and really beautiful things. This is very high end work at that level, if that's where you're headed. And one of our main students was just on a VFX panel with us, and she went straight from her studies straight into Disney, and that's what she's doing, texture work at Disney. And then pre-production with John Corellis. So this is really where all these projects are getting created and birthed, that may or may not go through StudioX, but it's really like, if you have an idea and you want to create a pitch Bible, and you really want to kind of come up with a great idea for a film or a TV series, and you really want to work through not only after you've kind of have your treatment and all of that stuff. But this is really where we're looking for storyboard artists, character designers, viz devs, prop and set, and producers and writers. And so this is really, you really start to develop these ideas and these stories ideas. And then every semester, John actually will pick the projects that are really doing well, and then they'll get pitched to us as faculty as possible production in StudioX in our process. Or it's just you have you go out with a really nice nice pitch package. But this is also really good, kind of in the same way Daisy's classes, is that they're working on several different projects. So if you're a storyboard artist, again, it's really important for you to have variety on your demo reel, and this is the place where you can work on different projects throughout the semester and have different styles and different ways of visualizing different projects, so you can show that you have a creative range. And then the prerequisites, actually, let me just come out of here, and then I'm actually going to drop in this PDF file. Let me see if I can do that. Can I do that? Oops. Usually I can put a file up, but I'm not sure if I can. I might have to send that to Becky. Or I can actually pull it up. I'll pull it up, and then you guys can see where we're at here. What time is it? Okay, great. We're doing pretty good. All right, let me just share the screen again, and I can just kind of give you a really quick brief of what this looks like. So prerequisites for pre-production is having a storyboard 1 class, some viz dev classes, always instructor portfolio review. For Michael's class for CG animation, having your CAPS class, of course, and then at least your character animation 1 completed. For Derek's texture and lighting, you want to have advanced texture and lighting under your belt. Jason's class, really getting all of either the level 1 under your belt if you're a modeler or a particles, Houdini or rigging. We always want you to have at least the first class under your belt. Catherine, the main prerequisite is finishing VFX 3, which is your node-based compositing. And then Daisy is really having your introduction to the animation principles. and pipelines and those techniques so that, but also if you're coming in as a storyboard artist or any of that, like definitely reach out to Daisy to get instructor approval. And then in my classes, the prerequisite is my producing one class. So we'll make sure that we get these prerequisites out. They're kind of scattered on Discord, on our Discord channel. They're also on the StudioX Facebook page and stuff like that. But we can get it out a little bit more. So it's almost 1:30. So I was thinking, why don't we take some questions, and then we will post up the Zoom link for the exclusive look into a StudioX class in action. So
Yes, there were a couple questions.
great.
One was already answered, but maybe for everybody,
Yeah.
can online students?
Yes. Oh, please, please, please. We have been doing the Studio X online for quite a while. And and when we had to all go virtual, it was actually for our Studio X, it was actually pretty easy because we had already been doing that. So please, if you are an online student and it's in your planner, please enroll. It will be as if you're on site or in virtual. If we go back on the site, we still run it. We're all there, and then you're coming in on Zoom, and we're kind of doing a little mishmash of both. And we've been doing that for a long time, and it works really well. And this is only just, it's so much better for you and you're real. The one thing as online students is that you do have to attend class at the time. So it's not like the regular online classes where you can kind of do it when, throughout the week. You do want to show up to class, do dailies, do your work. So that's really the only caveat. But please, yeah, online students, we definitely want you.
I think Daisy, you started to answer this, but I think that was in reference to the pre-production class. The is that for 2D animators?
Yeah, we've actually had some 2D people coming in because they were really good at doing like a lot of backgrounds and like really doing some great character designs. And so it's really kind of what your skill set is, and then going through that with John and showing him your portfolio, and then he can really see where your strong suit is or where you want to improve, and then he'll help you kind of get onto the right project in his class.
This is an interesting one. My career goal is directing. This is from Natalie.
Ah,
Can
okay.
Studio X help me get there professionally?
Yes, absolutely. So, Natalie, are you, what my question is, are you looking to be a animation director, or are you doing directing classes at an MPT? So that would be my question back. But what we're finding is, I mean, a lot of directors in animation, they actually, many of them start out as storyboard artists, and they start out as animators, and then their careers evolve. But also, one of the things that we've been doing is in so you can follow that, and then I've actually have people taking my producing class, so you understand how to work in a team and like develop and all of the steps within the pipeline of these different kinds of projects. And then we have some really great writing classes in MPT. And then once you kind of got a really solid idea, then it's a great thing for you to go into John's pre-production class and actually develop your idea visually. And then even if you have small ones, to even go into Daisy's class and work with teams in that way too. So being a director in animation and visual effects does take time. You really have to be in the industry and get your experience. But there's so many different ways of doing that in Studio X in different classes. So hopefully that works.
So students do create their own films at times, right? They like
Yes.
Redemption and those. So this is an interesting question, especially coming off of that 2D question. Can a film feature blend animation or cartoon characters with real live actors? I don't think we have seen one of those yet in Studio X.
We haven't,
Like a
but it is
Roger Rabbit.
something. Yeah, it is something that I've been waiting for. So come and impress me. Let's do it. If you got an idea, let's do it. That is something I'd love to see. We did a beautiful film called Monsters in the Dark a couple years ago. That it was in the reel that Apple actually blended 3D and 2D animation, and it really came out nice. So I love doing the combo of all of these things because I think that's what we're going to see more and more of anyway, and we already are.
This is kind of a two-part question.
Yep.
What software do they learn in 3D animation, and also do they have to specialize in like Maya or Houdini as an animator?
We in our animation 3D animation classes, it's mainly Maya, because that's mainly any of the jobs that are out there are mainly in Maya. The Houdini is kind of coming around, but it's not really like the industry standard at this point. Like you really want to learn your 3D animation through Maya, because that's what's used the most, or something like it. Definitely Pixar and Lucas have their own proprietary, but it's based on Maya.
Here's a quick one. I'm not necessarily doing these in order, everybody.
That's fine.
I'm going to answer this one myself because I don't.
Yay.
It's what hard drive would we recommend? There's no particular brand, I would say, but three of them. Get backups. Get backup hard drives. That's more important than I think what brand you would get. But here's a good question. Can future compositors benefit from StudioX?
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's why it's going to be so great when we go into see the compositing class. The one thing that the big reason why Studio X is what it is because Catherine Tate, who's the director of the department, wanted to have her students, her compositing students, get really beautifully shot, professionally shot plates and do professional level compositing work that gets screened, is out there. Like I said, we've been in our films have been in Sundance more, every year. It's kind of old hat for us. And so what it does for you is that it takes you out of being the student using like your student projects on your reel, is that you actually have real shots on your reel and you have a variety of them. And that really shows for the recruiters that they can just get you into the studio and you're ready to go. The training is minimal. So we kind of do your pre-training in StudioX. So it's really, really it's good for everybody, for all of your different tracks, for your demos and for your reels and for your resumes. We've noticed that even when we've been recruiting, a lot of our students actually kind of bypass the entry level positions because we've already had those skills and they see that. And so they'll put you in junior roles rather than entry level.
There are some things here about kind of how to get the class, but real quick to the compositing question, someone else asked which software they would use, and you use entirely Nuke. Yeah, entirely Nuke. Yeah,
we use Nuke, and then we have a lot of all of the plugins, and that's what you'll get through the R Lab. We have all of we have Sapphire, we have all the Boris, we have PF Track, Denoise. I mean, all of the bells and whistles that you would need. That's what's being used in the industry is Nuke. And that's what we're working and getting you ready for.
I have a question because you just said R Lab. What is the R Lab?
So if you guys don't know what the R Lab is, it's out. So basically during this time that we've all gone virtual, what we've done is we've actually put our lab online so that you can actually log into our high powered machines virtually. From anywhere. You can use just a Chromebook, and you're basically, even though you're working on your Chromebook, it's actually doing all the processing on the computer in the school actually. And so you get all the processing power of a industry, you know, professional industry machine, and then it's loaded with all the software that you are learning and need, so you don't have to like buy a whole big new machine and keep it updated, and all the software is all the latest software. So that is, and you can access the R Lab 24/7 from your home or wherever you are if you have a good internet access. And so even if you come on site again, and online students, you can do that. If we come on site again, you know, you're not just locked into being in the lab from 8 to midnight. You can actually be accessing it anywhere, anytime.
And just real quick, because someone did follow up on that, there is a render farm that it will distribute your render. So especially the lighting and texturing and dynamics people don't,
so it has, the render farm is all integrated in, so that actually makes your whole experience more integrated and fluid for your schoolwork and your StudioX work.
So these are questions about like how to get the class, specifics about the class. Some of these might be for your advisors, but we'll see what Sasha knows and can answer for us here. As I understand it, we have a max of 2 courses to take in the summer. Is this something I could sign up for in addition to the 2 summer courses, or would it take the place of one of those?
It would take the place of one of them. So in your class planners, you'll see in your class planners, there's somewhere, you know, after you kind of take these first classes for the collaborative projects. So you can move it up and down if you meet the prerequisites. So, you know, if you're taking a class in the summer and it's just kind of like history of something or whatever, and you really want to like, hey, I really want to start working on my skills and doing some shots and working on a film, then you can take StudioX. So you would definitely go in with your advisor to manage your schedule. You also can take StudioX multiple times, and I highly recommend that you do. So the sooner you start, the better, especially for our comp artists and our animators. You want to take it at least 2 or 3 times, because every semester there's going to be new projects, and you build your skills and you have more stuff to put onto your reels. And so you would work with your advisor on where those are all going to go. But definitely you can move stuff in and out. And how you register for StudioX is if you have the prerequisites, you can, I think, do the self registration, or just work through your advisor, and they'll get you into the class that's appropriate for your track.
Well, you answered that question. That was the first question we had. How do we apply?
Oh,
How do we register?
I see Desiree asked pay extra. No, the StudioX classes are the same amount for every class. The only thing is that it will have the lab fee attached, so that you can get into the R Lab and use all. I mean, even if we're back on site, you can be on the on-site lab, or you can use the R Lab virtually, so that you have access to all of the computer power, the render, and the software. I don't know what that number is, because it keeps changing. So we'll see that. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Yeah, I think you'll be happy. I think it's cheaper than trying to like get an industry professional level machine, and you know, they go. I mean, we actually release our machines every year, so that we always have the fastest ones for you guys.
This is, you know, someone asked, you know, and you answered if it was extra, but is it extra work?
That's a good question. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely when you're in StudioX, like I really highly, I mean, you know, we're going to give you your assignments, and we do expect you to have takes of what your assignments are on the weekly. But the more that you turn in and the faster you get stuff through, the more you have on your reel. So that really then becomes more about you and your interaction with the class. The more that you engage with it, the better your portfolio is going to get, and the more experience you're going to get. So you have to kind of gauge it yourself.
You don't know this, Sasha, but you know, because I interview so many StudioX students, they all say the same thing. They only have one regret, and that's that they didn't take more of them.
Yes,
they never regret the opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, try to get into these classes as soon as you have like the basic prereqs under your belt. I really recommend that you take it multiple times, because the first semester you're kind of like, what? And you're just kind of getting your bearings and working in a pipeline, because it's all brand new and it's a whole nother thing that you have to learn. And then the second semester you're like, okay, I got this. And then you're like really like, you know, improving your skills. And then the third semester is like, oh man, then you really like, you know, shine and explode in your creativity.
Yeah, I mean, this answers the question, would you recommend this for summer or fall? Both.
Both. Yeah.
But
I mean, I like summer because it's like summer camp.
Yeah.
It's like production, you know, movie making summer camp.
Not as many classes going on for people at once. Yeah.
Yeah, but and then yeah, because you're only taking like one other class, and usually it's just like an online class or something. And you know, fall can get just super hectic because you have a full load. But
Is StudioX open to master students? And then we had an earlier question about is it available for MA also? So MFA and MA.
Yeah, the for master students, definitely, and it should be in your class planner for all of your different tracks. And then for MA students, I think it's only for certain classes that we have the grad level, which I think is compositing, um, compositing and texture and lighting. And I think that's it at this point. But we can always work it out. Don't hesitate. If like there's like one you're like really want to be in and it's not quite there, just let me know and we'll make it happen, because this is important for you.
Is there a specific tech kit or specific stuff they would need technology wise as an MFA?
No, because if you are in the classes and you're in StudioX and you're paying the course fee, the lab fee for the R lab, you have all of the things. We're giving you all the things that you need. Okay.
That's pretty good.
Anything else? Should we?
They want you to post the link if we can. If we can get the link to the prerequisites, there are people that are asking for that as well.
You know, it's interesting. I can't. It seems like neither one of us can post it. So I'm wondering, is it?
We can post it when we jump into the classroom. I think.
Yes, we can do that. Yes, yes, yes. Also, too, we might be able to. You know what? Actually, Becky, let's go ahead. It's on Facebook, on the Facebook page for StudioX in the files. So I think if we give people the StudioX thing, they can go in there. Let me go into my groups here. StudioX, where are you? Here we are. Okay, so there's a StudioX Facebook page. And if you go into the files tab, there's the suggested, let me just share my screen really quick. So if you go into Facebook, if you go into the files here, here's the prerequisites. So you can just download that PDF. Okay. And then we might, if there's a registration and we have your emails that you registered for this, maybe we can just send a follow-up with the prerequisites and contact information. Okay, so now is the time that we are going to post another link for a Zoom, and it's in the chat. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into StudioX Visual Effects Compositing with Catherine. They are going to be in process of looking at dailies and reviewing shots and talking about working on the shots and all of the things that go along with that. So it'll give you a sneak peek into what the class looks like. Obviously we're online right now, but it works fine when we're on site. It's kind of the same thing. We're just in the same room. It all looks the same. So we'll go do that. And then probably about 15-20 minutes, if you have more questions or you want to chat with me more one-on-one, I'll set up a breakout room for us all to go into. You guys, if you need to bow out after, you know, you're like, yeah, this is great, I love it. You guys can head out whenever you want. Okay.